Oh, here we go. All right, there we go. It's better with my mic on. All right, we're recording, everyone, and thank you all for joining. And question and answer period, as well as a discussion and comments. So, having said that, everyone here, you have control of your own mic when you wish to speak, and it's perfectly fine to divinely interrupt me when I get rambling if you have a question or wish to say something. I'll begin this one with what's occurring with I, and I laugh about it, is that what I need to share is not so much, I don't think, on Telegram, now more so on Facebook, that there are, let's say, dark minions that are posing as I. So we have the imposters. So, having said that, on Facebook, anyone that is contacted by Rick Jors or a real Rick Jors. I don't use the real Rick Jors, so that's a giveaway. But check the profile of the one uh, that may be contacting you or that you have friended. And one of the ways is to distinguish between my profile and theirs is I have about 24,000 followers, and they do not have that many. So this will let you know. Also, I only have one Rick Jors Facebook account, and on Telegram, I only have this channel in the Twin Flame channels. And I typically don't message another, very rarely. And if I do, it will be mostly always with my voice, so that you will know it's I. So just getting that out there as well. And the reason I laugh at it is because uh, this is the desperation and the fear of the overall darkness. And what I say and what I share with who and what I divinely am, it may sound great, grandiose, and egotistical to some, but with that, it doesn't prevent me of saying who I am. And, and neither should any of that restrict any of you as well, importantly so, because we'll use the example, if Jesus was on the planet, Jesus would not stay in a cave and not let anyone know he was there. We have to shine and we have to be out there and stand in our full divinity. And having said this, uh, all of the ascended masters are incarnated upon the planet, and even ascended masters that humanity never knew about. So we can use the label ascended master, to at least identify those divine ones to some degree. So, having said that, there's so many of us that are here at this most glorious time. So it's important not to let humility restrict you and prevent you from openly, publicly proclaiming your divine identity, whatever it may be. And with that, you know, you may feel you are Christ, you may feel you are Mary Magdalene or Mother Mary, and it's perfectly fine. And it's also encouraged and important that you state that in your own way, that you are a representative at least of that energy. And what I also need to say, one of the things is that right at present there's over 5 million upon the planet and physical vessels that are the direct lineage of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. So, having said this, it's quite a huge gene pool of descendants, if you will, of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. But nevertheless, putting all of the past aside and we look in this now, um, all of the confirming truth is there for every individual to the degree that you need to know who and what you are here and what you're doing here. So, again, the more you advance yourself forward, follow the prompts and the guidances that you're given, and that, of course, resonates, and then you unlock more of your own soul's knowledge and more of who and what you are here as well. But also importantly, the more that you step in to your divine identity and put it out there in reality, like shining your light, if you will, the more of your divine identity you bring down, and it's your self empowerment. And with this, because you're bringing more of your divine identity down into the humanoid body, increasingly you affect reality as well in these higher uh, divine ways. So, of course, with the whole ascension and owning and discovering your divine identity, the more that you purify your actions, if you will, and your thoughts, with that, the more you rise into your divinity. So I use the word purity because that's what you're doing. You're purifying yourself of what we call the lower density fear based emotions, acts, reactions. So it is important to do it because everything is energy, and anything fear based with those actions, what it does, it diminishes your prowess, and also it will attract, the like to you. One of the analogies of likes attract in this ascension, which is so true. So if you're negative, you will attract negative things to you. But also, the more powerful you become, but also the more powerful the collective is coming, the negativity will have a compounding effect upon ones until they see that they have to change their ways with it. So it's divinely insured, if you will, in that way, because the world we are all here to create is a world absent of those old ways, and everyone needs to be cleared here. Simple physics with energy says, if you've got negativity in you, you're not going to reside in a place of positivity, love, and the higher vibration. You just don't do that. It'll keep pushing you away. So you got to clean up your act and your actions and, your field. And everyone does their best indeed, with it. And it's at times can be a confusing journey, and it can be tricky. And it's in the past it's been full of tests and trials and tribulations on the individual level, and everyone's been in a divine boot camp, if you will, learning and training on how to make the higher choices and to where to put your conscious focus towards. So that's pretty well basics. Anything anyone wishes to say there, or is there any questions at this point? All right, thank you. I'll continue. Um, what I need to say is on both levels, on a humanoid Rick level and on a divine Rick level, I'm very ecstatic in very good ways what is occurring in the lines of energy being brought down to the planet. So it's like a looping effect with it, meaning that the higher the vibration is upon the planet, and of course the twin flames uh, in process of uniting, what it's doing, it's on the planet, it's raising the vibration, but also because the sun is an important energetic contributor to this reality, it's also causing the sun to be active. And as the sun becomes more active, if you will, at uh, emitting the plasma and the positrons to the surface of the planet, then this makes the twin flames and all of the individuals become even more powerful. And what this does, it causes the sun to release more energy. So we're enjoying a lot of a looping effect with this. So it's very good. And but having said this, this unprecedented looping of good energy consistently coming in over perhaps the last 10 days. Shall this keep going in this direction and keep increasing? And what I will say, it's looking like in the near term it will. We could experience the flashpoint, a shift in reality, and especially with the twin flame creator pairs coming into the physical union, not only the 12 creator pairs, all of the other subsequent pairs as well are playing a very important, powerful role in this overall ascension. So the combined efforts of the incarnated um, 12 creator pairs and also all of the individuals and all of the divine ground crew, if you will, as a whole, uh, it is, we're making very great, good leaps forward. And I'm so grateful for that, to be seeing it. And as we know, all have worked so hard to get close to this day, if you will, uh, when the mission, the old reality is over and we have ascended into the new. However, with every day we keep getting closer, and the perseverance does pay off. We are not doing this by chance. It is actually a full divine operation, and each one plays the role in that, taking the ascension to fruition to whatever degree it may be. So the very good energetic support coming in, and also on the surface of the planet, if you will, on the surface of Gaia. One of the things with this ascension, and with what Father gave me directly in the beginning, around 2011, 2012, the main thing for the ascension was to get as many aligned with the one common goal, the one belief. And the more that we have like that, it's the same as mass meditation. You change the reality, and you create it. And, this is with GPMS.world, which is the divine plan. It's the replacement system for the current, let's say, enslavement system that's here. So we have all of these things in place, the twin flame unions that are coming together now, and the twin flames and physical unity change reality so quick. So the more that we have in unity, creating the love and the divine peace, they're also conduits when they are in their intimacy at bringing down the higher divine energies and rippling it out into this reality. So they are the divine conduits, but also we're dealing with creation. So they're bringing a divine creational energy down to the planet that transitions and transforms it so quickly. So I'll stop there. Any questions or comments? All right. I put out a post earlier today about the Black Panther feminine energy, the ego, the deep primal imprint that was necessary to be in there. And also, with the masculine, there is the masculine equivalent. I believe we could call that the black wolf or the lone wolf, but that's for another day to describe the spirit animal, if you will, of the divine masculine. Nevertheless, uh, the divine feminine have always been leading the charge of this ascension upon the planet. And it's been typically the ratio of 75% feminine to 25% masculine. There's been a couple times in the past that I believe it went almost as high as 37% masculine and 63% feminine. Um, but having said this, it was like a peak time when um, it was like the feminine were sent back to revisit some deeper levels, while the masculine had actually advanced forward. So there was like a juggling effect with that, and then the feminine, once they quickly went through the inner work of clearing some of those deeper layers, then they come back to the forefront and keeps leading the charge. And typically in this ascension, it is always so far the feminine that goes forward, and then the masculine and the rest will follow. And one of the reasons that the feminine are leading the charge, because they are the creators in this reality and to this dimension. So without the feminine, if you will, nothing gets divinely delivered into this reality because it comes through the feminine as well. And this is also why it's so important with the twin flame unions of the masculine in the feminine contributing when they're making this love and the physical intimacy, both dimensions, both places. Let's say Mother Earth, Father Sky is being included in it. And what this is doing is it's changing the mother, uh, it's changing the fear based reality into the heaven on earth scenario. So it takes the two to tango, if you will. And that's what's happening to raise the planet and the individuals into the ascension. Now, what I will say, I'm not given that it would happen, but what I will say is that it can happen that we have a flashpoint shift in a reset of reality yet. And with this, it could be very possible that you could wake up in a world where there's not very many left. However, I need to say, with any of the moms and of course the dads, your children, they get the free pass to the new world. So if they have not gone through all of their experiences yet, by association to you, they come forward into this new world if such a thing like that occurs. However, as far as I'm still given, is that it's a very rapid transitory thing. And of course, we know that many are not able to make the ascension with their physical vessels intact. So many are also have been interfered with and are dying or becoming sick, as well as the minions, the darkness, which was about 2 billion upon the planet, soulless upon the planet, upon Earth, 2 billion soulless minions that were unable to transform and transition their DNA in their physical vessels to acclimatize and calibrate with at least a fifth dimensional reality. So within your blood, excuse me, within your blood is the crystalline plasma, and this is what gets activated to higher frequency and begins to change the DNA in the vessel in conjunction with your soul spark and the spark of God of creation that each one of you has in you. Some of the, let's say, macabre things or things that the darkness was trying to do, when your children were born, also they'd be taking blood samples, and that become more widespread because they're also looking for the crystalline plasma in the children. And, that blood, if you will, was coveted as well as any other divine one that had passed away or what have you. But having said this, none of it works for them because it takes the spark of the soul to activate the DNA. So they could put crystalline blood transfusions into their self, but it would not advance the bodies. All that they had was a primitive technology that could advance their physical vessels, but not transition them into the crystalline. So, having said this, as a result, you are seeing, witnessing, and you will see more um, deaths. But with the minions, it also, the soulless minions, a lot of times they vanish from the plane that you don't even know that they're gone. So I need to put that in there because, again, this is with this great monumental ascension shift, which is right at our doorstep, which could have a total reset of reality. It's good to know now what could occur. And I don't have anything definite other than what I am seeing in the last 10 days or so is that the energetic environment is ripe upon the surface for this to create a reset in reality. So this is, of course, not a it's not a fearful preparation. It's actually a joyful, glorious preparation if it does occur. And also, the more we energize it as co-creators and have it in our focus, the quicker that we also facilitate the new heaven on earth scenario so that many gets out of this enslavement world, the matrix. It's how we break the matrix, if you will, and advance the human souls forward. Any questions or comments?
Rick,
Yes, go ahead, Kate.
hi, can you hear me okay?
I believe so. Yeah, you're a little bit louder with the last of it. Go ahead.
Oh, good. Okay, so I have a couple things. So I woke up and found my voice this morning. Um, last summer, my tribe was magnetized to me, and this was after years of isolation, and a lot of work. So I have a soul tribe that I connect with on a weekly basis, and we have lately been doing like sacred circles just to get our energy together for the collective. And so last night we had a 5-hour bonfire, and they all know that I'm on the twin flame path, and they kind of left it alone, but I kind of got attacked last night with it. And like one in particular was saying, get over it and you'll be a lot happier if it's never going to happen. I don't know why you're waiting for something that's never going to happen. And I mean, I know fully in my soul that it's going to happen. I know that I'm one of the 12 pairs. So last night I didn't react. I just kind of removed myself. And I removed myself with love and hugged everybody goodbye. And then I woke up this morning with a fire. And so I responded that, this twin flame mission is non-negotiable for me, and that if I continue to have negativity about it, or people bashing it, that I will leave the group. And then I got a lot of love, and I think it's like I stood up, and now everybody kind of honors it. And what's weird is, they're saying that I'll be so much happier. The truth is, I've never said anything about being unhappy or expressed that I was unhappy on my path. Like that was assumed, because I've only expressed love for my twin and for the path, so on and so forth. So there's that. And then I'm having like ascension symptoms with the hands, where they're getting just the finger, like just the whole fingers are getting ice cold, and they're turning white, and they're like tingling, kind of like it feels like a fall asleep kind of thing. And it was both hands the first time, then it kind of goes back and forth now. And I'm definitely affecting electricity, because I can walk out into my garage, turn lights on, they start flickering, so I know definitely my I know my body's coming with me, and I know definitely something's you know being turned up majorly right now. That's all. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kate. Uh, I guess two things I can elaborate or speak a little bit about. Energetically, you're seeing, let's say, a micro example of some of the resistance that is out there against the twin flames. So this doesn't necessarily mean that the one was a dark one that was saying, you'd be happier without it. It could be that one was just a conduit to deliver the message of the opposition and resistance to it, meaning that also, with past knowledge and truth, the remnants of the darkness would always try to distort and manipulate it and steer it away from the truth. And of course, to dress it up with negative things like it's not a happy thing, if you will, to keep others, that had not reached it yet. So they got it in their consciousness that the twin flame thing is not a good thing. When they become the co-creator and they keep thinking that, then they keep their self from it, if you will. And this is just some of the trickery and tactics of the darkness and the resistance. So, having said that, the full remedy for it is all of us that know uh, the energies are real, that work with them and move it and knows about the twin flames. Well, we are the testimony to that. And what's so beautiful is more and more are awakening to that every day with their Kundalini, their Merkaba being activated, and they know that it's beyond human. So the more that the twin flames and ones that know it's real, the more we populate that information and knowledge out there over the internet or by word of mouth, the more we gain ground as well at shifting any of the resistance. So it cannot compete, as you said, with what we are. We are divinely omnipotent, and we use all of the tools to take the ascension forward. With your fingertips, I love this, and your fingers getting cold, and yeah, the tingling like if they're asleep, and the electrical effects, because the further, again, typically that we advance in the crystalline process, what occurs is your nerve endings, which you have perhaps about billions in the body, but they carry the electrical impulses as well. And and through this, it's also this higher energy that comes from the heart, if you will, from the divine pure heart, and comes out your fingertips, which when it touches another, it's very pure healing energy in the least, and does so many more things. And what I need to say is that everyone listening to this now should be conscientious of your miraculous healing abilities coming online, or beginning to come online, or you already have them. It may be unbeknownst to you that you have them, but what I suggest is begin to, if you have animals, that maybe that has some pain in their leg, or even a family member, to begin just to practice, and just say, let's see if I can do something with my hands, and monitor and observe your effects with that. Because also, when you begin to test your abilities like this, it's through the confirmations that also develop and empower them further. Because when you confirm to yourself that yes, your healing abilities are working somewhat, then through your focus and the embodiment of that knowing, you make them even more powerful. And yeah, affecting the electronics and the light and these sort of things. It's all very real. So thank you for that, Kate. Any other comments or questions? No. Well, we'll touch on the throat chakra we were speaking about a little bit before I began to record. Um, so, what I shared with ones, I'll share now. With my throat, and let's say the larynx, the voice box, the vocal cords, all of this has been undergoing change. I'm saying for more so prominently the last 2 months. So, with this physical vessel, it's restructuring in there. And one of the reasons why it needs to is that the frequency, the vibration of our voice that we are emitting is changing. And it also has to, because it's one of your divine attributes, it's part of your divine identity, that, simply your voice is a frequency, is an energy, and it also can heal, if you will. So there's many good things with it. And the past energetic environment the more fear based it was, it would not support these types of gifts. However, because we are constantly raising the planetary vibration, the energetic environment, it is also activating more of these gifts because these gifts reside in the higher places. So, not only with the individual's higher vibration, but also the outside needs to support it, or you would be expending, if you will, a lot of your energy. So, this is part of your uh, creation, co creator abilities as well. And it's also a certain uh, divine authority that comes in your voice. And it's not an authority to rule over someone, it's an authority, if you will, where you're purveying a good message that ones will listen up. It attracts their attention, if you will, in that way. So it's not in a lower egotistical way, if you will, of authority. It's a mutual, respected vibration, that comes out that at least it will catch one's ear when it needs to, in the least. So I think you have something to add to the throat cake you were speaking about earlier. Do you wish to share now?
You there?
Yeah, go ahead. You're low, but try it.
Okay, you guys, this is hilarious because I've been on this path, the twin flame path, since 2017, and I've never had a voice until now. So this is huge for me. So thank you for letting me speak. Um, just about the throat chakra, I honestly found it this morning. I mean, and I knew something was going on with the throat just because of the clearing and being challenged, like having to stand my ground and make more boundaries, I guess I would say. So, yeah, I think we're learning how to speak up now. I am anyway. Thank you.
No, you're welcome, Kate. Yeah, I would not say boundaries, but I would say yes, standing in your divine authority and not accepting anything lesser than moral. And to know that if you do, what you're doing is also disempowering yourself in supporting the unmoral world in the least. So, with that, comes that divine responsibility of speaking out. And, in the past, with the throat chakra, if you will, being activated, that was for very important purposes as well. That, let's say, if one wasn't speaking up and speaking truth and, not accepting any irrational, immoral behavior, then, they would experience some difficulties or discomforts with their throat to catch their attention, but also at the same time they would it would come into their awareness, if you will, magically. They might see a post on Facebook or someone speaking about the throat chakra. So at the soul level, then the knowledge and information they needed would miraculously float in, if you will. But it is a very important part of the process as well, when you begin to purify your chakras and align them with the higher energy. So, yes, simply with the throat chakra, anything that is not truth, uh, it let's say it would get stuck in your throat or you'd have complications with it because it's a dense energy. And if it's coming from within you, it causes the complications. But once you purify it, then yes, you have your throat chakra, if you will, cleared, and then you move on to the next chakra if there's anything to clear there. But sometimes subsequently it occurs, and sometimes simultaneously you may have several chakra centers that you're being tested on at once. But also with this, I think it was a couple weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago, I also put out that the experiences that were associated with the tests with the chakras, especially with the fear in the solar plexus, that many of those experiences that subjugated one to the test, that they were divinely omitted because of also the urgency upon the planet. So instead of letting time in the experiences for the ones to overcome their fear and their solar plex, their power, as they did in the past through experiences, it was rushed forward that very quickly via the consciousness that the know-how to do the opposite instantly, if you will, was given. So then there were unnecessary experiences that were avoided in some, and more were called at that time to more or less instantaneous divine higher service. So I wanted to put that in there as well. So, any other comments or questions?
Hello, Rick.
Hey, go ahead, Anna.
Yes, I just wanted to talk about the throat chakra thing that you were just mentioning. The last couple of days has been, I feel like I've had Novocaine or something sprayed down my throat. Like it's a very strange feeling. I feel numb there. I'm just finding my voice like Kate. Um, I've held back a long time. I feel like words are not coming out unless I can articulate them properly, which has been a problem in the past for me. I'm feeling, yeah, it's a very strange feeling. And I really believe that if we're meant to be speaking right now at this moment, that it's, yeah, there is something happening. And I just wanted to add that to what you were saying.
Yeah, thank you so much. You brought up another thing that I need to share with ones. The sensitivity of your vessel is increasing, and also inside your throat. You might have been drinking chlorinated tap water, anyone you know, for a while or something that had a little bit of chlorine in it. But what I'm saying is that now, where one's become more sensitive, and because the more you advance, the more toxic extra chlorine becomes, you also can feel it in your throat. I'll use myself as an example. Sometimes, if I'm out, very rarely, if I'm out and have a tea in a coffee shop or a coffee, I can tolerate about 1 cup, but what I will feel is the throat begin to burn if they're using, not a good pure water. So I limit it. And I needed to bring this up so ones are also conscientious of the chlorine intake, because it's very important not to have white sugar, white flour, any chlorinated tap water. Your best water is best to get from the springs. So I just added that little snippet in there, if you will. Thank you. Any other questions or comments.
Hi, Rick.
Hey, Nessa! Woo!
Tony and I were out the other night and we started sounding. It just came to us to do it. And we were doing that and it was quite overcast and all the constellations and the stars started to react. So they started, what was it, Tony? They were getting brighter and then going back in and out, like zooming in and out. Our eyesight got stronger so we could see them, and they were zooming in and out through the gloom. But it was quite powerful. It was very interesting to experience.
Yes, yes, thank you. And so, yeah, you're experiencing somewhat, well, I should say more than somewhat, the magic and changing the reality. And this is a big part of the twin flames confirmation. How, generically, what I will say after intimacy, you might have been a night sky watcher, let's say, all of your life and know what is in the sky and the constellations. But there are times after intimacy that you can go outside and see a whole new sky and different constellation arrangements. And one of the reasons why this occurs in your intimacy, if you will, you are in another dimensional space in the least. And when you go out, you can see how that has affected your reality and changed it. And it's a funny thing and it's amazing. And, I love it with as I shared on the twin flame one, the last time Femke and I were intimate, I go outside and there's two huge A constellations, and the ships are moving, to form that. And but the two A's together also made the M, right, for Mother Mary and Messiah, if you will. And so beautiful, and it's comical to watch it as well. How we can change the reality like that.
Yeah, hi Rick.
Hey,
Also, the you're actually seeing deeper into space, more and more stars afterwards. It's just amazing. Like you go out, and all of a sudden there's three times the amount of stars in the sky than previously watched.
yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah, and that occurs as well. I know exactly what you're saying, and yeah, it's yeah, it's so amazing. Anything else to share with some of your confirmations or what you have been witnessing?
Well, the night sky is really incredible lately, and we've seen ships. When we go out, the ships will flash to get our attention, and then they'll slow up and go across the sky to show us them going into a portal or a stargate. But they'll flash first just to get your attention, and then they'll go. And then the other night we had two almost collide. So they one came from one side of the sky, the other came from the other, and then they came to almost a point, and then just it was almost like they were having fun. They just kind of veered around each other, and we thought, oh my goodness, they're going to collide. No, they didn't, and then they just disappeared.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, yeah, Tony, you got that night. You got a video of one of the reconnaissance ships going in circles, or what have you. Do you have anything to share about that one? That was an amazing vid.
Yeah, it was moving. I was watching. It was moving in one direction, and then it just came to a stop. It disappeared, and then it reappeared and went in a totally different direction. So it was almost like it knew I was watching it. So bit bit like showing off in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, it reminds me of one time that I and a Divine Feminine in Canada, we were doing important work, and we had a portal opened. We were in our camper staying in a gravel pit, and above us it was all clear in the night. We had a round portal opened with all the clouds, perhaps a few to several kilometers away, but the portal was circular. So I go outside to look at the sky just to monitor it because we had did a huge activation, and I see a reconnaissance ship coming over. Just ones would think a white star, but it's moving, and so it's coming over, and I say to it, I love you, as I connect with it. No response, radio silence, if you will. So then I said, what? That's kind of rude. So I said louder the next time. I say, I love you and thank you. And then what it does very quickly, it goes and it writes capital letter I, and then it draws the heart, and then it draws the letter U in the sky, like where it's in hyperspeed, leaving a streak. And it does it so quick that it only stays there for a couple seconds, but you can see the streak of white that where it wrote "I love you." So, and then they kept going, and there was some communication. They were just doing reconnaissance, as checking the perimeter, I think was their words, as we had completed that activation. But yeah, these are the beautiful things. But only with that, it was only I saw it. Um, because the divine feminine that was assisting me, she had got a little bit grumpy. I guess she was transmuting some negativity, and she wouldn't come outside, so she missed it. But it was very beautiful, yeah, to see these, but not to boast or at all, but to share with all of you. It's very real, and I've had numerous experiences and interactions with the galactics, and the galactics are very real. The benevolent galactics are multi-dimensional. The nefarious galactics, they are only from sub 5D, so they are what you would call really intergalactic, the nefarious ones. So just to distinguish beyond that, and the galactics that we work with are 5 dimensional and beyond, and are all benevolent. Once you get up out of the fourth dimension, there is only benevolence. The only place that nefarious and evil and darkness, if you will, exists is in the fourth dimension. The third dimension is no longer here, is what I need to say. Everyone is in a fourth dimensional and a fifth dimensional place. So you got at least 1 foot in fifth dimensional and beyond. Sometimes you can be in 6 and 7, but you got 1 foot at least. If you got 5 feet, well, you got 1 foot, usually mostly in the fourth dimension. And the reasoning for that is, again, because we're to transition the fourth, the souls that are still in the fourth dimension, to transition them forward. So our divine requirement to be in the fourth dimensional reality, it's not for ourselves. We have already all ascended, and within our divine blueprint is the way to do it. We don't die, but we're here to, if you will, as part of a rescue mission, and that takes having 1 foot in this reality. So thank you. We'll stop there. Any more questions or comments? No, it's pretty quiet. I didn't I didn't have anything else really just wrote down to touch on. I'll just have a moment and think. If anyone has anything else, please bring it up now. If not, I may end this one soon. Just take a moment.
Rick, it's Kate again.
Go ahead, Kate. Thank you.
So when I had my Kundalini and Merkaba activation in 2018, I had Pleiadians come into my room and I started going on Arcturian ships. And then, like, I started channeling Arcturian, but I haven't had anything. I mean, I still get messages from them, but I'm not seeing them or going to them like I used to. Do you know why that would be? Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Kate. Yeah, the first thing was your very real introduction to, let's say, the Pleiadians and the Arcturians. So everything also is divinely timed and divinely when necessary. So this just doesn't mean because there hasn't been any communication for a long while directly, it doesn't mean that it's cut off. It's just that it's not, if it's divinely required, it happens in the blink of an eye. Having said this, no one's ever disconnected, although it may feel like it if you're a channeler and sometimes you can't get a message. That's perfectly fine because sometimes there is no messages nor any divine reason to have a contact, if you will, because other things are playing out. So each one needs to know you're part of a whole, and at any given time, when required and necessary, you are contacted with new information or instruction for yourself or instructions, to purvey out to other ones as well. But the thing is, you're never disconnected. It may just seem like that. If that answers it, Kate.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah. Is there anything else? Anyone else?
I guess I just want to just mention a dream that I had that was actually, I don't know if it was last night or the night before. We've had major aurora activity where I live, like it was flaring over the whole sky on Saturday night. The dream I had was it was a solar flash, and I was protecting my partner and my daughter, and I was telling them to be calm, and the flash happened, but I didn't go any further. So I haven't sort of tried to process that. Don't want to read into it too much. What are your thoughts on that, Rick?
Yeah, thank you once again, Anna. What I would look at that when we're interpreting, let's say our dream in our dreams in our astral times, and when we're doing divine work, what I need to say, it's also for ones to understand that you still have some of the human logic operating as well as the divine messages. And when you're translating, if you will, what you're being shown, it's important to keep in mind that you may get a lengthy message, but it's a good practice to discern what might have been a little bit of contamination from the human logic as well. And you may have a longer dream, but there might only be a couple important images and that you could pinpoint that are actually fully divine that got mixed in, let's say with logical human train of thought, or also a projected thoughts that are out there, because also you're telepathic, meaning that all thoughts, and of course, with cell phones and signals upon the planet, there's a lot of the information stream from the planet that is occurring at times, and you could have outside interference. Getting right to what you're asking, Anna, is what I picked up on it, you were given at least the possibility of the flash of reality from your sense. I got a confirmation on that if you just heard it. And from that, with your sense of perhaps protecting your children and your partner, the way I'm seeing that is you're actually not protecting them, you're actually energizing them to take them forward. So, what I see with what you're saying is you put your wings, if you will, over them to ensure their safe passage into the flash. So, that's the way I'm interpreting that. What do you think about that?
Yes, I just got a very energetic confirmation about that. So thank you.
Thank you. You're so welcome. Yeah. So, any other comments or questions?
I have a question, Rick.
Andrea, go ahead.
Yeah. I've noticed that since the dream time is coming up, I've noticed that I'll go into a dream state and it's like when I wake up, whether I remember it or not, whether it's benevolent, it touches my heart when it's benevolent more, of course. It's almost like I'm taking it from there and bringing it here to um alchemize it or like to face it. I'm not some of the times I go through emotional stuff, but it feels like I wake up and I can feel the pain in my body and there's kind of like this disassociation. It's not emotional, it's just this physical, and that feels good. Like just before you had stated about the Black Panther, and I'm s- I was I was fine. I was sitting in my camper and I felt this dense energy very instinctively. It came and it shocks me that I can feel it because I'm just navigating my way through. And then I was at the point where I was tired and I had seen whatever energy was around the camper and it had seen me and I asked it what who are you, and it said it was um angelic. However, it was shaming me for even noticing it. And I got small. I was a little girl and I said, forgive me, I'm sorry, like, and then I went, wait a minute, like I stood in my power. I guess that's that voice stuff that other people were talking about. Thank you very much for your shares. And then it attached it was around me in my space, and it was dense, and I started clearing it out, and it took a while to clear it out. It was so I'm noticing that I'm waking up and I'm doing something in my sleep, working some stuff out, but when I bring it into when I wake up from there, it's almost like I'm manually cleaning it is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I don't have the words. Anyways,
Oh, you're doing fine, Andrea. Thank you so much. Yeah, we understand fully. Let me just say there's several things that I can touch on there. Uh, I'll go right to the Black Panther with you because I read your comment on Facebook on the post and it was interesting. And so, what I wish to say, specifically with you, Andrea, is the Black Panther, if you will, was the alter threatened ego of yours. So it had a representation outside of the body. And, typically this type of experience usually happens with one, let's say, also in their bedroom when they see the dark figure. And the dark figure actually comes from them when they reach a point in their spiritual and divine development where, let's say, you begin to be at least 51% of the light. And this is when the uh, lesser dense ego gets threatened, when it becomes 49%. And let's say if you go to 60% of the light in that day, and when you lay down, if the ego is still there, it will separate from you. It will take a dark, dense, visible form, and it will stay, let's say, in your bedroom. Um, and what it tries to do is intimidate, because if it can frighten you, it lowers your vibration. Then it can come back in to be a controlling lower density ego of you and keeping you in the fear. So it becomes a battle sometimes with that for once. And what I say for any that may experience that in the future, or if they know anyone, I say it out now. What you do is that you recognize that it's actually your lower fear based ego that has taken a form, and you remain adamant and trust in yourself and God, and you say, no, you cannot come back in a side of I, and it propels you even further forward. So we look at the Black Panther as representing that old necessary ego, not only for the feminine, for the masculine as well. But I had to put this on the feminine aspect with the Black Panther today for various reasons. But what I need to say in conjunction with this, it's, yeah, the more that you do your inner work and purify yourself, it becomes threatened. So one of its first course of actions is to intimidate, because it only resides in the fear state and in the fear vibration and frequency. So that's, some of the trickery of it, but it's actually yours. It's the important thing. And it's not a darkness, if you will, attacking. So, now, also in your dream states, which with everyone, it's so important that you understand on the divine level and on the soul level that for what we are as a soul and a divine one, we never require rest. We are always active when we're awake, like now speaking, but also when we're sleeping. The soul does not need to rest, and neither does it. And I like to say the consciousness as well. It's only these physical humanoid bodies that we have that require the rest itself, but the soul does not require rest. And what occurs is when, divinely you're sleeping, you're resting the humanoid body, your soul and your energy and your consciousness is doing something somewhere in alignment with the ascension. So you'd be doing something good. You could be, there could be a little girl that lost her teddy bear in Ohio, and you could be in Pennsylvania, but in your dream state, you would appear as an angel and pick the teddy bear up and give it to the little girl, if you will, and you would have no memory of that. You may feel that you did a good thing, as you said, when you come back, the next morning in the reality, because of the state of a joy and a bliss you were in. And then, yeah, you bring some of the remnants of that energy back and you deposit it from that higher state into your reality. Now, also with bringing back, let's say, some denser negative emotions and feelings, while you also, go in to stir up negative things so that we let the light shine through, if you will, or to transition things forward. And sometimes when you're working from the astral plane or the energetic plane, you may bring back some of that residue from where you were at. And also you transmute it, in the now with it whenever you do that. So we're always divinely working when we're asleep as well. There was one other. Oh, yes. Thank you, Father. Also, what I need to say, what many of you also, if this resonates with you, we can use the analogy of soul fractals. And when we look at this, we need to say, I'll use the simple numbers of 100%, and I'll use the simple numbers of 2%. So, what I can say is that one's also should consider that for you to get down into this lower dimension, for some of you, it was necessary to split yourself into satellite U's or soul fractals. And during the course of doing that, let's say you're 100%. You are the main operator of other satellites, other U's that you have out. So you retain the 2% of your whole when you do that, the whole of you, the 100%. But also you can have other U's of you out simultaneously around the world. And then what occurs with your empowerment, what you begin to do is you begin to, unbeknownst to you, collect these other yous you have out, your soul fragments. And when that comes back, so what occurs is there's a death that occurs because it's actually another physical you. But with that death of the other physical you, around the planet, it's usually typically a 3-day integration period of the energy and information from that satellite you that you collect to be integrated into your operating. And what also occurs with this, sometimes you could wake up with a scar, a cut, or you could have some sort of a pain. This is why they would call, phantom pain that come out of nowhere. But it's during the um, soul fractal, soul aspect retrieval that this occurs because it is a product of you. So when you bring that fractal or aspect of you back in, part of, let's say, where that soul fractal died. It might have had a broken arm. You might have a odd phantom pain in your arm, just as a byproduct of that. And, of course, scars can come and bruises that can come out of nowhere. You can wake up all bruised the next morning, and typically about 3 days it's gone. The same as scars you never had before. They can appear for about 3 days, and usually they're gone after the integration period. And also with that, you when you collect a soul aspect of you that's been outstanding out there, after the 3 days of the integration, sometimes those 3 days could feel a little lower vibration because you're also processing very quickly, and what your soul aspect had experienced. So you're also purifying it to take out of the memory any of the negative and fear based experiences it had, and only take in the positive and the valuable good experiences it had. And what this does, it adds and compiles within you a pretty quick understanding and higher knowledge base, because you need to understand that satellite of you that was out there, yes, was having some similar experiences, but it was also having some other different valuable experiences as well. And it's so when you retrieve that after the integration period, you will have at least a different perspective, because what will be added to your overall conscious knowledge will be what that one experienced in the knowledge that it collected. So you could have, let's say, eureka moments also that come out of nowhere, and it's a result of that memory being released into the consciousness, if that makes sense. So there's at least those are, I think, three things I touched on, and of course, there's so much more uh, that occurs when one is resting their physical vessel, sleeping. Any other questions or comments? I think I'm soon going to end this one. I'm going to go out and have an organic tobacco cigarette soon. Well, it's pretty silent. Is anyone still here, or did I put everyone to sleep?
Still here, Rick.
Oh, okay. Well, at least you're both of you are still here, or you, Tony. Yeah, with that, thank you so much. And so, what I'm going to do is wrap this up and thank you all. And what I will say is, we have the Twin Flame Advanced Information and Education private group opened up for any Twin Flame consorts or peers that wish to join. And also, it's open for anyone that the Twin Flame concept has come into their awareness as well. So, just letting you know that, and what I suggest with that, perhaps let Femke know if you are interested in joining that. And in that group, it's teachings and also open mic discussions and teachings and sharing like we're doing here. And having said that, the Facebook does not offer this great ability, what we have here in this way, to have a easy group discussion. So this is another reason why I prefer Telegram. What I would say is if Facebook had the platform to do this there, I would do it on Facebook, because there is more um, um, more that follow what I put out, and we would have a bigger audience. But again, to my present knowledge. This is not available to do it this way on Facebook yet. So we do it here and let ones on Facebook know. So having said that, I'm going to stop recording, and I thank you all stopping it now in love, light, and gratitude, and we'll see you in the near future.